So many boxes. What's going on, guys? Pixelated here, back at it again with another video. As the year comes to a close, we look back at the plethora of sneakers that released this year, and this year was huge for sneakers. Let's be honest here. So many iconic sneakers that are going to go down in history as fire starters I can't even begin to discuss. With all this info though, I wanted to compile a list of the top 5 sneakers I've bought this year. If you've been following me for a while, you'll recognize I'm back where I did my last year's top 5 video to give you guys a more refreshing outdoor setting. Now before we get started, feel free to like the video or subscribe to the channel at any time if you enjoy the video. As a growing YouTuber, it really helps me out a lot and encourages me to make more quality content for you guys. Oh, and the SNES Mini Classic Edition giveaway is still going on my Instagram, so feel free to check that out for a chance to win. With all that out of the way, let's get to the top 5 sneakers I bought this year. Coming in at the number 5 spot is these babies right here. It's the Adidas X Haven Ultra Boost collab. Of course, I had to start off the list with some Canadian love, you know, being from Canada and whatnot. Now, in hindsight, you're looking at these and going, what's so special about them? They're an all-black shoe. And as most of you know, I'm not the biggest fan of all-black or all-white shoes, so this is kind of an anomaly for me. This shoe, when it first released, was crazy hyped, and there was plenty of reason for that. For one, it was a consortium release around the time when consortium releases were ridiculously hyped. Second, it was Canadian, so you know how that goes. But third, and most importantly, it opened everyone's eyes to a whole slew of possibilities and showed what you can really do with an Ultra Boost collaboration, because during this time, a lot of Ultra Boosts that released as collaborations just used the regular 1.0 silhouette and modified the materials and colors without really being creative with the design. Of course, there are a handful of exceptions like the original Hypebeast Soulbox and Woodwood Ultra Boost collabs, but aside from those, we didn't really see much creativity on the Ultra Boost collaborations following. Truthfully, that's part of the reason hype on them is dead right now in my opinion. On top of that, this shoe used the Ultra Boost 2.0 knit pattern, which was unheard of on an Ultra Boost collaboration as well. They uncaged it and put ATR taping along the toe box and midfoot of the shoe for moderate weather protection. The story and inspiration behind the shoe was just so true to the origins of the store that it all just meshed really well. Not to mention the all black means I can and have gotten away with wearing these in formal event situations. Ha! Exposed. I probably should have kept quiet about that. Anyways, on to the number 4 spot, we have the Nike X Kith Chimera Pippin 1s. If you know me, you know I'm a huge Kith fan. I love a lot of stuff they do, and their sneaker collabs are by far my favorite thing about them. This one is no exception. Now, this release was widely publicized, the team did a good job of marketing it, but sometimes the hype just isn't there. Not to say that these didn't sell out, because they definitely did, and pretty damn quick considering that all the pairs ever made were all released through Kith stores and the Kith website only. I put these at the number 4 spot because Kith made me like a shoe that I'm not typically a fan of. I never really liked the Pippin 1s. I didn't think they were hideous or anything. Okay, maybe I did a little, but they were never something that caught my eye. The pony hair on these separated with all the different prints was just amazing to me. It has this crazy wild look that I'm always a fan of. Of course, as long as it's done tastefully and doesn't look tacky. I think these look amazing. The unique Kith and Pippin hits along the entire shoe are just eye-catching and special and really lend themselves to the story behind the shoe. The fact that Kith and Pippin have their own logos on here, then you have all of Pippin's stats and the leather insole in the shoe. The details on the shoe are just wild, and I like the bulky aesthetic. So there's that. I was actually going to put these at my number 1 spot for this year, but honestly, I'm probably not going to wear them as often as the next few shoes I mentioned, so it's only fair to put them at the number 4 spot. At the number 3 spot, it is another Nike shoe. It is the Nike X Off-White SB Blazer Mid from the 10 collection. Nike really took off this year with their collaborations, and it really took me by surprise. Honestly, I wasn't sure if Nike still had the chops after the tremendous year Adidas had last year, and that's no knock to Nike, but I've gone over this before. I started going to the Nike outlet that opened up near me, super excited when it first opened up, but always left empty-handed because their style started to feel dated to me. Their products just started getting stale in my opinion. Nike completely changed that this year, and in my opinion is back on top again with all of the top tier collaborations such as Cause and Tom Sachs and the designs they've put out. The 10 collaboration with Virgil Abloh is no exception. It's usually exciting to just get 1 or 2 sneakers out of a collaboration with a sneaker company and a designer, let alone getting 10 entire uniquely designed sneakers. It's amazing to think we got 10 entirely revamped sneakers from that collaboration. Well, 9 so far. The 10th is supposedly releasing in early 2018. It's the Chuck Taylor, and by revamped I mean fresh takes on the shoe, not just a colorway change or simple material change. Some of these shoes were crafted with brand new materials they've never been made with before. They have design hits that you've never seen before, that you wouldn't even expect to see on these shoes before, such as the SB Blazer Mid with this ripstop material. You know these aren't going to get damaged at all. The execution is amazing with hits of suede on the heel and Nike embossed into it. The unfinished foam border for that unfinished look, and that oversized swoosh that looks like a piece of cutout rubber just glued onto the shoe. And we have this redone midsole that's on the outside of the toe box when this portion is typically on the inside of the toe box. The fact that it came with 3 different sets of laces is just icing on the cake in my books. On to my second and runner-up top sneaker purchase of 2017. It is the Adidas X Kith X Non-Native Ultra Boost Mid. That's a mouthful, but that's what you get with these double store sneaker collabs. I know what you're thinking, these babies had no hype at all. It doesn't matter, man. Buy what you love, fuck the hype, Jesus. With that out of the way though, I was a huge fan of the Kith Aspen Ultra Boost mids from last year. I've always loved the comfort the Ultra Boost brought to the game in general, and when the mid silhouette was revealed last year, I was even more ecstatic that I'd be able to wear them in moderately cold climates during the winter. Of course, it was a struggle with the Aspen mids because of that all-white midsole, which got me excited even more so for these because not only are these all black, which means I could give a fuck about ruining the midsole, they even added an ATR outsole so I can tread on them through rough, rocky terrains with the swiftness. Not to mention this patchwork design on the upper is just beautiful. Would it have looked better if it was colored? Possibly. Everything looks better when it's colored. It would have definitely been more of a polarizing design though. Some would have liked it, some would have totally turned away from it, but I'm happy with the way they are and wouldn't want them any other way. Now before we get to my top sneaker purchase of 2017, I've got a few honorable mentions that didn't make the list but deserve to be given some credit for their originality and, well, the fact that I was able to purchase them. Honorable mention number 1 is the Adidas X Kith X Naked CS2 in pink from the Sneaker Exchange collab. This collab was very important not just for the culture and as a dope sneaker, but for this silhouette in general in my opinion. It took a shoe that probably would have gone under most people's radars, the Adidas NMD City Sock 2, and brought it to the forefront, making it cool, raising awareness of the silhouette, and more importantly, making it acceptable to the hypebeasts who would have otherwise never touched it. I for one enjoyed the design of the silhouette when it was first leaked, probably a year prior to the release. The design for these is just still so unique compared to the other colorways of this shoe. We have this heathered pink and other shades of pink, I guess, splattered all across the shoe. Then we have this leather strip going from the tongue of the shoe to the toe with the 3 stripes on it. Most people were turned off by this strip on the upper of the shoe. I loved the inclusion of it when I first saw it. Then we have this overlapping kimono-esque ankle collar. I don't care if you don't even like the shoe, you have to admit that's a dope design choice. Honorable mention number 2 is the Yeezy 350 V2 Boost in the zebra colorway. I know at this point most people are over the Yeezy hype. Okay, let's be honest, no they're not, but it's definitely settled more so than it was before. Even I'm kind of over it, but that's just how these things work. The more supply you release, the more interest dies off. Regardless, this is hands down the best colorway that has ever released of the Yeezy 350 V2 by far in my opinion. I will give the Frozen Yellows credit for that gum outsole, it really helps that colorway pop. As for these, I was actually considering paying resale after the first drop of these, and if you remember, these were going for wild amounts after the first drop. Thankfully, I was able to cop on the restock and was able to get them for retail. On to honorable mention number 3. Last honorable mention is the Adidas X Overkill EQT 9317 Future. This year was a big year for the EQT with the Adidas debut of the EQT 9317. For the longest time, people said nothing could outdo the comfort of the Ultra Boost. Plenty Boost shoes came out and none of them would shift people's opinions until these. Not only was this a radically new silhouette for Adidas, it actually got people turning their heads because the amount of boost you got in the midsole was so much more dense and cushy than what you got in the Ultra Boost. These were like literal clouds on your feet. They made Ultra Boost feel like Vans. Okay, that's an exaggeration, but you get my point. And this collab was an awesome take on an already great shoe, with the heather pattern on the upper similar to the reigning champ Ultra Boost and the red stripes to contrast. Now, on to the final and top sneaker purchase of mine for all of 2017. Drum roll please. JK, there's no one here, no drum roll here, sorry guys. Bam! It is of course the Nike X Off-White Jordan 1. I don't know what magical fairy dust angel was chilling on my shoulder when I signed up for the raffle for these, but thankfully I won and was able to cop these for retail. I've already went over the Nike X Off-White, the 10 collabo, and the details of that. These were possibly the most hyped shoe in that collab next to the Prestos. It was kind of a surreal experience for me to get that call, but there's good reason for the hype on these shoes. This is probably the first time a deconstructed Jordan 1 actually deserves that name, because the design was purposefully crafted with the actual innards of the shoe and exposes them, whereas typical so-called decon Jordan 1s usually are just made of thin canvas panels to give off the feeling that they're deconstructed, when in reality you're just getting thinner material and less padding. With these, the legacy Jordan 1 design was taken to another level with the elongated tongue, unfinished rough edges on the foam, chrome, the exposed insulation material on the toe box and mid panels, and this barely hanging on swoosh that is literally only held in place with 2 rounds of stitching. And to top it off, it's in the legendary red Chicago colorway, a colorway I have yet to attain, so this kind of checks that box for me as well. It's a 2 birds with 1 stone ting. That's the end of my video. Please hit that like if you enjoyed it. Let me know what your top sneaker purchases of this year were in the comments. With that being said, catch you later. Pixelated out. Okay, so I was in the mall the other